Okay, in this problem we're going to solve those two equations by completing this square. So we'll start with the leftmost equation. The first step is to move the number onto the right-hand side. So if we add 96 to both sides, we end up with x squared plus 4x equals 96. So then we focus our attention on the x coefficient. It is equal to 4. So we'll take half of that. 4 divided by 2 is positive 2. So then we're going to add positive 2 squared to both sides of the equation. So by doing that, we ensure that the left-hand side is exactly the perfect square. And that perfect square is x plus 2, all of that squared. On the right, we have 96 plus 4, which is the same as 100. So we're looking on x plus 2 quantity squared equals 100. Now if we use the square root method on both sides, we end up with x plus 2 equals positive or negative 10. So that splits into two equations. Either x plus 2 is positive 10 or x plus 2 is negative 10. Subtracting 2 from both sides on the leftmost equation, we get x equals 10 minus 2, which is x equals 8. For the right equation, we end up with x equals negative 2 minus 2, so x is equal to negative 12. So the answer is 8 and negative 12. Those are the two solutions that we have for this equation. Then, for the other equation, we have 3x squared plus x minus 10 equals 0. So we'll start by moving the number over. So this is 3x squared plus x equals positive 10. Then divided by 3, so this is x squared plus 1/3 x equals 10/3. So once we have x squared by itself, well, we focus on this coefficient in front of x, that's 1/3. So we'll take half of that. Half of 1/3 is 1/6. So we need to add the square of 1/6 to both sides of the equation. So that's what we do. We add 1/6 squared to both sides. So by doing so, the left-hand side becomes a perfect square. That's x plus 1/6 quantity squared. So this should be actually 1/6. Okay, so we have x plus 1/6 quantity squared equals 10 over 3 plus 1 over 36. That's the square of 1/6. So we need to combine those two fractions on the right-hand side. So we have x plus 1/6 squared equals, so to build up denominator, we multiply 10/3 by 12 over 12. We end up with 10 times 12 over 36. If we continue calculation, we end up with 121 over 36. So our equation is x plus 1/6 quantity squared equals 121 over 36. Taking square root of both sides, we end up with x plus 1/6 equals positive or negative 11 over 6. So that splits into two equations. X plus 1/6 equals 11 over 6, and x plus 1/6 equals negative 11 over 6. So going with the left equation, if we subtract 1/6 from both sides, we have x equals 11 over 6 minus 1 over 6. So x ends up being equal to 10 over 6. So that's the same as 5/3. And then on the right-hand side, we end up with x equals negative 11 over 6. So that's the right equation that we work with. X equals negative 11 over 6 minus 1/6. So that's x equals negative 12 over 6, which is the same as negative 2. And we have the two answers, x equals 5/3 and negative 2.